Local airfare baseline price in Nigeria appreciated by about 60% over the weekend of February the 19th. Base fare that cost an average of 30,000 naira across most commercial airlines was pushed up to above 50,000 naira, with operators describing the move as a commercial decision to survive the harsh economic realities. Joining us to discuss further, Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu. Chika, good morning to you. Thank you so much.
Hi, morning. Welcome to the new week.
Indeed, the new week, sir. Yes, yeah. Aviation on the menu.
Oh, yes, yes. You know, as complex as a compressed cylinder blasting through the atmosphere near the speed of sound with more than 600,000 parts, you know, about more than 60 kilometers of wires, you know. Tell me what is coming more complex than that.
Exactly.
You relax there, you know, disturbing the air hostesses for your tea or your bread or your water.
Right.
That's only your concern. You don't know that.
The mechanics behind
that, you know.
Right, yeah.
And so a lot of issues that relate to aviation are a bit complex. And you notice in your rundown, you raise a couple of issues, flight delays, pricing, you know, and then skills. You know, you do recall also that there was a little war last week.
Yes. When
Senator Adeyemi, who happens to be the chairman of the Senate Committee on Aviation, had said that because of the delays and cancellations, they're going to invite foreign airlines to come into Nigeria and take over the domestic routes.
And very controversial statement there.
Yeah, very controversial. It was a call to war. A call to war because they and the airline operators of Nigeria took up that and came out a laundry list of reasons why there are flight delays.
Right.
And about almost 15, 20 points they put down there. And all those points were them, you know, meaning that said about 80% of the delays are due to things outside the control. Yeah. And, you know, for our viewers, the way I can explain to them the issue of delays is this. The typical aircraft that some of them we show in the picture there does about 8 to 9 frequencies in a day if we're used in Nigeria. And basically, let me give an example. So 7 a.m. it leaves for Port Harcourt.
First flight.
It's supposed to land in Port Harcourt by 8. By 8:30, it's maybe programmed to go to Abuja. So Port Harcourt, Abuja on same aircraft. So lands in Port Harcourt. Maybe it's programmed in Abuja. Maybe it's programmed again to head to Kano. You know, so that's how it's used on 8 routes, 8 legs that will try the whole day. So if you have a delay in one leg,
it's a domino effect.
There's a domino effect on the other legs. And so that's what you see in Nigeria a lot of times. Now, but the points that the airline, the airline operator in Nigeria put out there are substantially relevant and valid. But, you know, the point, one of my discussion this morning is based on where they made a comment that most of them are out of their control.
Right.
You know, and I that's where I think they can do a little more. And the first thing is look at weather. You know, weather accounts for about 50% of the delays.
Right.
And because of the fact that there's a lot of destination or departure airports, we don't have the kind of equipment. But you see, Nigerian weathers are predictable.
Right.
In the last 30 years, we know what happens during Harmattan. So, but some of the airlines or operation people are still very aggressive. They know that early in the morning, to get into Port Harcourt or get into Kano or whatever is very difficult. They still put 7 a.m. flight. You know?
Yeah.
So, but with experience, you should have known that those 7 a.m. flights will not go.
Will not fly.
Indeed, by today, you should know the weather for tomorrow.
Right.
And that will help you schedule your
flights.
Yeah. So that's in the hand of under the control of the airlines. So they can actually program their flights better.
Right.
Look at apron. There's another thing they mentioned there. They say, you know, they call that aircraft parking space due to congested aprons.
Sounds like what we face in cars.
Yeah, in cars, you know. Yeah. But the issue, again, is the fact that some of these airlines, they have 2 aircraft. Some have 3 aircraft. Some have 4.
Right.
You know, they're all, you know, corner shops, if I may put it out there.
Okay.
And so you see some of them carrying 30 passengers or 40 passengers to Abuja only want to leave at 7 a.m. in the morning. So why can't they come together? Instead of going almost half near empty or whatever, and actually aggregate and do better operation management.
Fill up more planes.
Fill up more planes. So that's still what under their control. Under control.
Okay.
I
see where you're going.
I can go on and go on and go on, and least that. Let's look at the issue of human resources.
Yes. Okay.
We talk about service excellence in other institutions. We'll say if your institution must be customer-centric, it must cascade. It must come from the CEO down to everybody. Now, I was at the airport on Saturday, and I saw one airline that has one of the best online on-time departures. And I was asking, why can't the other airlines have the same kind of that?
Right.
And I noticed what they did. Once their aircraft landed for an incoming flight, the outcoming flight, they were already ready for it.
Okay. So it flows.
It flows.
Yeah. Okay.
So every person in the chain knew that the turnaround time must be maintained. But in some other airlines, you see people just walking anyhow. I've been called to board aircraft in Nigeria, and we'll get to the departing aircraft, and that nobody's ready. And even rain starts falling, and we're left in the rain.
Right.
So where's the signage? So those are still within the control of the airlines.
Gotcha.
Now, let me address one other issue that's critical. Aviation fuel.
Aha.
Which you mentioned here, ties into the
price hike.
The price hike.
Yeah.
Aviation fuel used to be about maybe 250 naira per liter, thereabout. And it's about 430 now, thereabout. And so it's almost doubled. And aviation fuel accounts for about 25-30% of their cost of the airline.
That's significant.
So you can imagine the doubling of that can actually lead to increase in prices. But I don't know whether it is commensurate with the doubling of the domestic fare.
Right.
Now, the other bigger issue for the aviation industry in Nigeria is the flying public, the flying net. It has never increased.
Right.
And again, that's within under control of the airlines.
You're talking about the number of people that fly,
they fly.
Right, okay.
It's same, all of them are cannibalizing each other. Instead of working on expanding the traveling net, so that more people can what? Travel.
Travel, okay.
With education. Do you know that before they increase these ticket prices?
Yeah.
The major competition is what? The transport people, the road transport people.
Correct, yes.
Do you know that some road transport fares were actually comparable to the flight tickets?
Flights, wow.
But people didn't know.
So if you could pay as much for flying by road, you would...
I mean, within 45 minutes, you're there.
Right.
I remember a friend of mine that was staying in Enugu, and I encouraged one. They used to spend the whole day going from Lagos to Enugu. Sometimes reaching around 12 midnight. One day I encouraged him. I said, why not fly? By 9 o'clock, he was in his house in Enugu. And we tell him, Chika, I didn't know that this is easy. Right. Because of education. Again, the airlines need to get out there.
So that's under their control.
Under their control. The airlines need to get out there and look at how to expand the traveling net and bring more people into the traveling net so that more people can travel. Now, one of the limiting factors has been what I call the destination expenses. Destination expenses means that when you land in Port Harcourt, Port Harcourt airport to town is about 5,000 naira. How would the airlines, they must find the solution to that.
Okay.
So, an amalgam of all the costs. Remember that everything in aviation, whether it is boats or the screws or the wires, are all imported. Right. There's no local content.
Right.
Now, what has happened to the exchange rates.
Of course.
So that has also affected the cost of operation.
Right.
So I can understand the justification for the increase in airfares.
Yes.
A combination of the door purpose the aviation fuel as we know it, increase almost doubling, the increase in exchange rate for the space, the lack of infrastructure in some airports, which is a different thing altogether. I mean, I don't want to dwell on that today. We know the gaps in the infrastructure. Government has to do more. There's one time some people landed in one airport, we saw the pictures, they use a ladder to bring passengers down.
Right.
It's a shame. But I can see that a lot of things have improved over time. But a lot more needs to be done because aviation is very critical to the development of the economy.
Thank you so much for the extensive breakdown there. What about management skills? What do you make of the CEO of NAMA's comments?
Very valid point.
Yeah.
Because a lot of some of the airlines are still run as mom and pop shops.
Right.
See, the aviation economy, aviation is a glamour business. Glamour business. Glamour business is like, you see, Rotus Airline.
Yeah, that would be nice.
People just think that Rotus is a billionaire.
Right.
But
not knowing that
it's a low margin business.
Right.
Max 5%. Look at this. In a nation of 200 million people, in a day, maximum 25,000 airline seats. That's what Nigeria generates. It's a shame. In a country like US, maybe 3.5 million or 4 million seats in a day. So aviation is a glamour business. So when you see Rotus Airline, you think Rotus is a billionaire, but it's 5% of the distance.
Right.
So aviation economy, a lot of people don't understand it. They don't Nigerian entrepreneurs don't understand it.
Got you.
And they think that those tickets, money that's pouring in, is actually the profit.
It's not when you deduct all
the expenses.
Expenses, right.
And so instead of putting professionals there, they want to, like typical Nigerian business, it's not just left for aviation. Typical Nigerian business, the law firms, everybody wants to be a partner. The hospitals, instead of coming together to a specialty hospital, having 5 skills in one place,
yes,
everybody wants to be my own hospital. Everywhere, Nigeria wants to be their own, person.
Their own boss.
It's same thing in aviation.
Yeah.
So instead of selecting professionals, they will not. The typical airline that has 2 or 3 aircraft, some of them 20 years, 25 years aircraft, has a CFO, CEO, CTO, the same cost. Meanwhile, in US, you see some aviation companies that have 300 aircraft and 1 CFO. So skill based, it's a profession, skill based very important. The economics is different. It's not something just bring your cousins and your brothers and whatever and make head of this, head of that, head of that. That's a knowledge base required to run aviation. It's a complex industry. And that's what the NAMA CEOs are alluding to. The Nigerian airlines, as we have to compete, especially with the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, they need to restructure and put the right structures in place. Some of them have collapsed in the past on the basis of lack of corporate governance.
Right.
And the owner is there, his son is the CEO, his second son is the CFO, is this and that, and they're just going around, lack of discipline in organization. People are giving instructions to anything. Pilots are not respected. But it's a professional business and must be run professionally. When people allude to Ethiopian airline and say, oh yeah, it's a government airline that has succeeded, it's because of the fact that they respected corporate governance and the structure of the aviation industry. And ticket prices are so not when your family is traveling, just say go to the CEO and collect free tickets.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. It's a professional business and has to be run professionally. That's what the NAMA's CEO was referring to.
Fantastic breakdown. Chika, as always, we appreciate your deep dives in the different industries in Nigeria. Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu. Chika, thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot.